Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. This is a special request from you guys. Let's get to the player props for the AFC and NFC championship game. I don't have these in any specific order. I just found ones that interested me, and then I put them on the list. So bear with me. First one, we got Jimmy G over under 232 and a half pass yards. I'm going under, and I really like it. Now, there are blowout scenarios in games. Like, let's say 49ers are down like 17 in the third quarter. Then Jimmy G could go over this. But I think this game is going to be close. I think it's going to be a dogfight. And I also think Jimmy G struggles. I don't think Shanahan trusts him. And I think Jimmy G's going to get hit in this game. When Jimmy G gets hit, he folds like a lawn chair and he doesn't want to compete anymore. That's just how he is. And I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, Jimmy G's playing good this playoffs. They're watching different games. They're in a different land. Just because the 49ers are winning games, it doesn't mean Jimmy G's playing good. I'm going under the 232 and a half. Next game, we got Pat Mahomes. We're talking rushing yards here. Over under 26 and a half. I really like this one. I'm going over. Mahomes is just going to do what he needs to do to win, man. And we can talk about his throwing. We can talk about the 70-yard bombs. We could talk about the flowing hair, but I like talking about how gritty he gets when it gets to playoff time. And that's why I really like this one. We know Mahomes doesn't run a lot. He hasn't ran as much as he did 3-4 years ago. But I think he's going to take off for 2 or 3 scrambles this game. That's why I'm going over 26 and a half. It's really low, especially because the Bengals, they're probably going to have 7-8 guys in coverage every play, and they're going to have to mix in man-to-man, and I think Mahomes can do a few escape routes. Next pick, we got Matt Stafford over under 277 and a half pass yards. Money, over. I think Stafford is licking his chops against this Niners secondary. Now, this Niners pass rush is no joke. They just aren't a joke, man. Bosa is not a joke. He's one of the best players in this league. But I think the Rams, they'll run it and they'll have run-pass balance. So I think Stafford will have protection. Yeah, he's going to get hit a few times, but I don't think it's going to be anything colossal. I don't think it's anything that can get him off his reads. The read is Kupp, Beckham, and Higbee. I don't know if there's a better 3 reads on a football field for a quarterback. And also, I don't know if there's an easier 3 reads for a quarterback. You got Odell deep, you got Cooper Kupp underneath or intermediate, and you got Higbee to dump it off. What more can you ask for? And this is a secondary against the 49ers. They've looked good in the playoffs, but are we going to just undermine how slow they are, how old they are? There's no dogs back there. And when you're talking about Kupp, when you're talking about Odell Beckham, you better have dogs back there to deal with them. And I don't think they have it. I think Stafford goes over the 277 and a half. I think he actually hits the 300s this game. Next game, we got Joe Mixon. Over under 61 and a half rushing yards. I'm going over. I was surprised they set it so low. We know this game could turn into a shootout. We know when you got Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, it is alluring. It can get you away from the run game. But I don't think Zach Taylor's getting away from the run game, especially the first half. I think Joe Mixon gets 14 to 20 carries this game, and I think he goes over. And we've seen Joe Mixon raise the level of his play the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season. I really like this over. I don't have much to say about it just because I think Joe Mixon's going to get the necessary touches. I think this is low because, the bookies are wondering, are they going to get the Burrow? Is Burrow going to throw it 55 times? I don't think it's going to be anything like that. Even though I think this game can turn into a shootout, I'm going over for Joe Mixon. Next pick, we got George Kittle over under 52 and a half receiving yards, and I'm going with a surprise under here, and I really like it. We just haven't seen him ball this year. I mean, we've seen him have some great plays, and there is that one catch against Zona where he took it for like 65 yards. But have we seen the like prototype Kittle, the Kittle that can dominate, the Kittle that is uncoverable, that where safeties like tread in fear when they're locked up man to man on him? And also, I don't know if Kittle's going to get an awful lot of help from Garoppolo. And you're seeing Garoppolo; he's throwing more to Deebo, more to Aiyuk. I think that continues, and I think the Rams try to take Kittle away, even though the Rams got problems at safety. We'll see what the Rams do. I just don't see Kittle going off this game. I see a lot of short stuff to him, but I don't see him going over. Next game, we got Jamar Chase over under 87.5 receiving yards. I'm going to go over, and my initial vibe, my initial pick was to go under here. And this dude's a force of fucking nature, man. And you look at what that Tennessee game last week. Tennessee had him doubled a lot. Tennessee gave him some underneath stuff. He breaks a tackle, gets 15 to 20 yards out of Yak when he only deserved to get 5. I mean, that's just how dominant he is. So I have to go over. Now, there has to be a plan with the Chiefs to double him. I think it's worth doubling him. I think it's worth taking him away. Like, I know all you guys like talking about T. Higgins and Boyd, and I'm not saying they're bad players. It's just I would take away Jamar Chase, and he would be the first person and last person I take away on Cincy's offense. I'm going over because I just don't know if that you can take him away at this point, especially with how good he's running the intermediate routes. We're not even talking him splashing deep. Next game, we got Pat Mahomes over under 292.5 pass yards. I'm going over. I think this Cincy secondary is vulnerable, and they played great last week against the Titans. I'll eat a little bit crow about that, but this is just a different level of stepping up this week. And this game has the allure, it has the potential to turn into a Wild West shootout. That's what happened to the Bills-Chiefs game in the second half. When you got Burrow and Mahomes, it can go that same direction, and I would not be surprised if it does. That's why I'm going over 292.5 for Mahomes. Next pick, we got Joe Burrow, King Burrow, over under 290.5 pass yards. I'm thinking a little bit different with this one. I'm going under. Like, I see him getting like 280, 270, but I think Joe Mixon's going to be a big part of this game. Like, I think Joe Mixon, he's, like I said earlier, he's going to go over his player prop for rushing. And I think a lot of the first half, the Bengals are going to try to slow this game down. They're going to try to keep Pat Mahomes on the pine. I don't think Burrow goes in the second half with a lot of passing yards. I think in the second half, that's when he takes off. I'm just going barely under. It's not the best read in the world. Next pick, we got Cam Akers. Over under 55.5 rushing yards. Money. I'm going over. Now, we know Sony Michel is there, and we know Cam Akers fumbled 2 times last week. So, just a little bit of caution to the wind. But I still think this is a goddamn money pick because Cam Akers adds something Sony Michel doesn't. Cam Akers gives Sean McVay comfort. And Cam Akers makes people miss in the hole. And he's one of the best one-hop cutters in the league that no one really wants to talk about. And he just adds something different. And listen, we know the 49ers run defense is stout. We know that. They're nasty, and they'll hit you hard, and they're good at staying gap principle. But, man, I think Cam Akers, he'll break 1 for 20, 30 yards, and then he's going to keep getting called upon because you don't want Matt Stafford throwing it 70% of the time. If Matt Stafford throws it 70% of the time, he's going to get squished by Bosa. So I think Cam Akers is an integral part to the McVay game plan this week. That's why he's going over. Next pick, we got Elijah Mitchell over under 70.5 rushing yards. I'm going under, man. And I'm not so sure Deebo doesn't get more rush yards than him. I mean, we saw how Deebo was used last week, and Elijah Mitchell's good, man, but the Rams, they're going to go 8-man in the box. They're going to go bare front, and they're going to make Jimmy G throw this damn thing, and I think that's going to affect Elijah Mitchell's game. Like, I think he's going to be close to the 70.5. I'm not putting money that he's going to go under by any means, but I don't think it's going to be easy sledding for him by any means. Next pick. I keep saying next game like we're picking games. Next pick, we got Cooper Kupp. Over under 104.5 receiving yards. I'm going with surprised under here. I think the 49ers take him away. They're going to do what Zona did. A lot of double coverage, a lot of bracket coverage, letting Higbee, letting Odell Beckham beat you instead of Cooper Kupp. I mean, Cooper Kupp is probably the most consistent receiver in this league. He's still going to get his 70, 80 yards. I just don't think the 49ers let him explode. I think they're scared of Cooper Kupp exploding, and they would rather take the risk with other players exploding. Next pick, we got Odell Beckham, over under 52.5 receiving yards. Money, Odell, over. I think he breaks 100 yards. I really do. I just see the matchups for him in this game working in his factor. I'm not seeing anyone who's athletic enough to go man-to-man against him. I'm not seeing anyone who's fast enough to even stay with him in the secondary. And I think eventually Odell's going to break a play over the top, but he's going to be effective in the intermediate routes too. And then, like I said, previous pick with Cooper Kupp, I think the 49ers are going to choose to take away Cooper Kupp. And there's going to be a lot of Odell Beckham one-on-one. There's going to be a lot of Odell Beckham against soft cover 2 and cover 3. I think Odell will snuggle into this, and I think he's going to go over 100. I really like this Odell Beckham player prop. Next pick, we got Deebo, over under 52.5 receiving yards. I'm going over, but this one's rather complicated because what type of package is there going to be for Deebo? Are the Rams going to try to take him away and just say, Kittle, you beat us? That's my main question. I don't know what the Rams are going to do, but I'm going to just go over just based on pure instincts. And Deebo is the guy that creates the most separation for Garoppolo. He creates more separation than Aiyuk, creates more separation than Kittle, and I think Garoppolo feels more comfortable with him. I'm going over. Next pick, we got Brandon Aiyuk. Over under 47.5 receiving yards. I'm going under. I think Aiyuk's one of the most underrated wide receivers in this league. But I think Jimmy G has a hard time finding him because Aiyuk likes to operate between 10 and 25 yards in the middle of the field, which is a really good place to operate, but not a good place for an inaccurate quarterback to throw the ball. I think Jimmy, he gets nervous in this game, and I think he'll go away from Aiyuk. I really do. Aiyuk could start the game strong, but Jimmy G will go away from him. I'm going under the 47.5, although 47.5 is really low for a player of his caliber. Last pick, we got Taylor Higbee, over under 41.5 wide receiving yards. I'm going over, and this is the Cooper Kupp effect. I think they try to take away Cooper, and I think Higbee and Odell are running roughshod on this 49ers defense. Hit the like button, subscribe, share the videos. NFC, AFC championship player props. Let's get it.